Before I begin, apparently a woman in Japan married a cardboard cutout of a Blue Lock character. Even if this is a joke or not, that is just... I can't help but be reminded about the time that a man married Hatsune Miku. There's even pictures of it. It's very, very infamous. I mean, a lot of people have probably heard about this, but it's really funny just seeing how we have a repeat at the end of 2024. But anyways, let's get into the meat of the video, why you clicked on the video in the first place, and that is Netflix absolutely crushing Crunchyroll in earnings and revenue, and giving some credibility to the article I, covered about 2 weeks ago when it came to Crunchyroll's monopoly threatens, and how, they are having a high churn rate, they're losing a lot of subscribers, how they're really spurning and upsetting a lot of offers and just companies that work in Japan. Crunchyroll obviously is getting a very bad reputation, and I made a video basically discussing that maybe Crunchyroll could be at the precipice of a dead end, so to speak, that they could theoretically have to close their doors. Now, when I said that in my video, to clarify, Crunchyroll, most likely, if they were to close their doors, they would just get rebranded. For instance, Sony would probably create a new streaming service, operated under a completely different name, not affiliated with Crunchyroll, and then move all the titles from Crunchyroll onto, let's say, that new service, because I think Crunchyroll as a brand is incredibly damaged. I mean, there's just so much controversy, so many problems. I mean, it started off as a pirate company. There's so many things that really just the company doesn't have a good reputation. So it's only a matter of time until eventually maybe 5 years or 6 years from now where, Crunchyroll's doors might be shut down and opened up as a completely new product to be able to kind of get away from the controversies that Crunchyroll has obviously been going through. But anyways, getting into the main point, within that article I covered, it talked about how Crunchyroll obviously was not making as much revenue or subscriptions as they wanted. They were having a high churn rate, aka losing a lot more subscribers than average. They had like a very high percentage in comparison to like the 5% average, and it wasn't good, so to speak. It speaks that, their overall goals and what they wanted to achieve with, for instance, the subscribers wasn't being met. Regardless if they were unrealistic or unobtainable goals, Crunchyroll obviously, the people at the head, at the top, probably are very unhappy with the overall, statistics and the stats that's currently going on with the company. So anyways, we move into Netflix, and Netflix obviously has been picking up a lot more titles. They have definitely been branching a little bit deeper into anime and manga related content, or just anime content, not manga related, but anime content. I mean, for one, they have Dawn to Dawn, that's a good example there, but they also have like partnerships, multiple partnerships with Japan, like One Piece getting a live action stuff. It's very clear that Netflix is getting a little bit deeper into the anime culture, the anime space, so to speak, and a lot of these big companies that usually operate with Crunchyroll are now trying to really operate with Netflix more. Now, obviously, there is some shows that are on Netflix that legitimately are also on Crunchyroll, and it's because Crunchyroll allows them to be licensed onto Netflix to be able to have, like, cross-revenue, most likely distribution. But the point of the matter is that Netflix clearly is gaining momentum. It is growing as a company in terms of the anime space, and this article that I want to be covering kind of outlines that. But it also gives some insight into just how dominant Crunchyroll is in the space as well. In 2023, Netflix earned about $2.07 billion from anime, nearly double Crunchyroll's $1.16 billion. And to clarify once again, just anime they earn that much money. So, Crunchyroll, a full-focused anime-related company to stream anime and make content, they only earned half of what Netflix earned, and obviously Netflix made a lot. However, this is a little bit unfair when you look at the statistics, and this article does paint that, showcasing like the viewership, but also just how many subscribers each company has. So let's get into that one. So, although anime makes up only 3.9% of Netflix's library, it accounts for up to 6.8% of viewer demand. That's pretty huge. You factor in probably millions upon millions, hundreds of millions of subscribers to Netflix. The fact that there's basically 7% of the subscribers watching anime on their platform is pretty high. That is a lot of people viewing anime on their platform, and obviously there is quite the demand for anime on Netflix. Definitely increasing most likely in the last few years. This shows how popular anime is with Netflix's global audience and highlights its potential as a profitable content segment. Definitely have seen that as of late with Netflix trying to grab more shows. The reason Netflix is dominating the anime scene. Crunchyroll, widely known as a top platform for anime fans, is now up against strong competition from streaming giants like Netflix and Hulu, or aka Disney. Despite its dedicated user base, Netflix's massive subscriber count of 230 million far surpasses Crunchyroll's 15 million, gives it a significant advantage. And I think this is a big takeaway from this entire article that does need to be talked about. Now, yes, Netflix did double Crunchyroll in their overall revenue, but you gotta, factor this in, that, they have 230 million subscribers. That is what Netflix has. Now, that means that they were able to only double Crunchyroll's earnings, despite Crunchyroll having significantly less subscribers in general. So in a way, this actually showcases that Netflix is not doing that hot with anime on their platform. I mean, they are, but it's very clear that the fact that they're only double instead of, let's say, quadruple says enough. That still Crunchyroll has quite a grip on the anime market, and still a lot more people go to them than anything else when it comes to streaming anime if they're going to go the legal routes. However, it's very clear that Netflix does have some significant weight, and if they continue to invest in anime and they continue to spread their tendrils, they could definitely be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the anime space against Crunchyroll, which is a good thing. Because Netflix has gotten a lot better as of late when it comes to releasing stuff, but also Crunchyroll needs competition. I've made multiple videos talking about this. We don't need a full-blown monopoly. It is not good. However, if, what happens with Kadokawa eventually, if they're bought out completely by Sony one day, it's possible that the inevitable will happen regardless. But anyways, not getting into that subject, the point of the matter is that Crunchyroll managed to it only got doubled, which is insane. It really does go to show, though, just how many people still actively go to Crunchyroll instead of Netflix. However, if Netflix continues, and they continue to get all these different projects, they continue to kind of get in deep with the anime sphere, and they continue to get Toei on their side, Toho on their side, and all these other companies, it's very likely that they will continue to get more and more projects that will outbid Crunchyroll, which that's another thing. When it comes to licensing and stuff, it comes down to bids. Like, who is willing to spend more money, so to speak, to be able to get that license on their platform. And it's only a matter of time until Netflix really starts to take it even more seriously, and they start outbidding Crunchyroll's licensing. For instance, let's say they wanted to get, hypothetically, Re:Zero Season 4 or something, okay? Just throwing it out there, obviously, this is not related, but it's important. There's a bid for Re:Zero Season 4 on what platform? Either on Crunchyroll, Netflix, Hulu, you get the point. And basically, the bidding start point is like 50 million, okay? Well, obviously, Netflix can throw that money easily around, and Crunchyroll might, only be able to go up maybe 30 million higher. But obviously, because of that, Netflix might be able to double or even triple that overall bid, so they can eventually just outbid everything that Crunchyroll wants because they have enough money to do so. So, that is the problem Crunchyroll is facing, which, good. I'm just gonna say, good. I think we can all agree that Crunchyroll has not been a relatively good company as of late. But, yeah, this is very fascinating information, which, goes into more stuff that's happened recently, and that is the overall censorship and just how they have been in terms of, like, subtitles and stuff. It's clear if Crunchyroll doesn't course correct and change things soon, they're probably going to lose even more subscribers, and Netflix is going to gain even more momentum over them, and that the dominance that Crunchyroll has had for so long will cease to exist. And once again, this might get into, Sony having to restructure everything to really focus on a platform that will be able to generate revenue even more so than Netflix. We'll see where that one goes. But I wanted to talk about the subject. I felt it was very fascinating, basically showcasing that, Netflix is slowly creeping on up and has definitely surpassed, Crunchyroll. But once again, you got to factor in the total subscriber count and all that with the two platforms. But it is still very impressive that Crunchyroll is even able to keep up despite having a lower view count. It showcases the dedication of certain fan bases or the community where they're going to go watch anime. But anyways, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much. May you all have a fantastic day or night wherever you live. Be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.